Hello, wonderful people. Happy Tuesday. Yes, happy Tuesday to you all. Very happy to come your way this morning. We have some US immigration law tea to spill. So, guys, just grab your seats and join me on this live. It's going to be a quick chat and then I'll be off. Okay, I hope you guys are doing great. Join in. Once you join in, just let me know where you're connecting from. And yeah, let's get started. So yes, today we're going to be spilling the US immigration law tea. We're just giving an update on what's going on concerning the backlogs that US immigration is facing. Of course, everybody understands that there has been COVID. So the backlogs are understandable, but it's it's surprising because although COVID is now we've all found our rhythm. You would expect that some of the adjudication of the cases would pick up, but unfortunately not. Um, they're still trying to catch up. They're still trying to play catch up with all the applications. So we're going to be talking about one aspect of. I'm just trying to turn away my light to make sure there's no glare. Okay. So we have Joyce Nana Kunedukusi who says Nana from Ghana. Awesome. Welcome, Nana. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, guys. So I'm going to be discussing. Let me share my screen. Just something mildly interesting, not crazy interesting, but mildly interesting. In fact, it's almost even ridiculous. So yes, hold on. Let me zoom in. You guys know that Afghanistan was overtaken by the Taliban. So we've been filing a lot of humanitarian paroles for them and for Afghanistan's because because the Taliban have taken over. There's a lot of them are facing threats and threats of harm, threats of death. They are just afraid for their lives. So the US immigration law allows people who have an urgent humanitarian reason to actually seek admission to come into the US and then flee from that type of danger. So that's what humanitarian parole is all about, and we've been filing that for the Afghanistans. And in fact, within the past few weeks, apparently US immigration has received about 20,000 applications. And it's interesting to note that according to the news, it's just 6 officers that have been working on those applications. And we have all these Afghanistans that are constantly calling us, finding out, okay, what's going on? When are they getting responses to the applications that they filed for their family members back in Afghanistan? Some of these Afghanistans are actually US citizens, some are green card holders, and they have their grandmothers, their mothers, their fathers back in Afghanistan, their sisters. So they filed petitions on their behalf, and they're just waiting for them to be evacuated. Well, no, in fact, at this point, there are not that many evacuation fights, but they've just filed for them, hoping that the US government will adjudicate their petitions, approve it, and have their families join them. But I mean, how can you have 6 officers working on 20,000 applications? That's a lot. I mean, that's almost that means an officer will work on about 3,500 applications, and there's no way conceivable that they will be able to do a fast job because the very nature of humanitarian parole is that it's for urgent humanitarian reasons. So the purpose is defeated if you don't even have the resources to respond to the urgency of the situation. So yes, let me just add my screen again. Guys, I hope you guys are doing good. Here's my tea. Drop me your comments. Please don't just sit silently. Drop me your comments and engage with me. Drop me your emojis. Let me know how you are doing, how you are feeling this afternoon. Just drop the emoji that you think will communicate your mood to me, and then I'll read and try to interpret the emojis. Okay, so As recently as last week, the U.S. Immigration Service was using 6 officers to process about 14,000 humanitarian requests for Afghans seeking relocation to the U.S. following the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan in August. Okay. So, yep, with just 6 people, that's just completely unacceptable. And I agree with Congressman Jim, because the impact. The point is that even the urgent applications are not being treated as emergencies. So the other applications that are not emergencies, you guys have to relax, because we constantly get bombarded. Oh, I filed this application and I haven't gotten any response from the USCIS. When are they reaching back? You just have to relax, because this is priority now. It's an emergency situation, but they are not even bothered. Well, I don't know if they are not even bothered, but they seem not to have a good number of employees to actually attack these applications. I mean, it would make more sense if they had, maybe, who knows, even more than 100 people working on the applications to plug through them and to make sure that they are adjudicated on time. So the take-home lesson, we'll talk a little bit more about this article, but the take-home lesson is that if you qualify for any type of U.S. immigration application, it's better to file it now, because the longer you wait, the longer their wait. Like, if you wait to file it later, you'll have to wait a long time to get it approved or get any type of decision on it. Okay, so so then, yes, the number has continued to surge in recent days, with the agency receiving as nearly as 20,000 requests on Friday. And this, yes, they said it's more than 10 times the number of humanitarian applications submitted from around the world in a typical year. So in a random year, let's say in 2018, the number of humanitarian parole applications received were maybe 2,000. In 2019, about roughly 2,000. So every year they receive about 2,000 humanitarian applications. But this year alone, between the months of August, September, October, they've received more than 20,000 applications. That's a staggering number. I mean, of course, it's to be expected, because the Taliban takeover is not a simple thing. We do affidavits for some of our clients, and it's amazing. Some of the Taliban lash their family members. Clients of mine, they send me pictures of their family members that have been lashed with blood oozing. Sometimes children as young as 7, 6, 5, 8, 12, they're being lashed with belts and whips. I don't know for what reason. The Taliban are just going into their homes, searching, threatening them. So it's a really dire situation. I see some of the pictures, and I have some of the people in my office, they cry, because I mean, it's really crazy. So it's unfortunate that USCIS has just 6 people trying to work through 20,000 applications that are deemed emergencies. So guys, all I'm telling you is, if you have any application pending, just keep your fingers crossed for it to be adjudicated very early for you, because even the emergency situations are not being adjudicated with the with the emergency, the urgency that it requires. Okay, so emergency permission, humanitarian parole. Yes, let's talk a little bit. Let's give a little bit background about humanitarian parole. It's a special permission that's given to foreigners to enter the U.S. under emergency circumstances. It doesn't automatically lead to permanent residency, yes, but parolees, the beneficiaries of the parole application, they can apply for legal status once they are here in the U.S. Once you're here, you can get married, you can get, a family member can file for you. A U.S. citizen or a green card holder can file for you if you qualify. Okay, then the majority, I'm sorry, it's always when I come on camera and then I start yawning. The majority of the humanitarian requests have been filed by Afghan Americans, yes, on behalf of relatives that are seeking to flee Taliban rule. The U.S. led the evacuation of more than 124,000 civilians, mostly vulnerable Afghans, in August, yes, but a lot of people were left behind. Unfortunately, the evacuation flights couldn't carry so many people. Okay, so let me see. I think we're at the end of the article. That's interesting. Yeah, let's talk about this, and then I'll be reading comments soon. A spokesman told for Langvin, that's a congressman, told VOA Voice of America that the information about the USCIS humanitarian parole backlog came during an October 12th. I hope it reconnects soon. Okay. So essentially, there was an agency briefing. The USCI sometimes briefs Congress about what's going on. And then the information came to them that there's a US parole backlog, the USCIS humanitarian parole backlog, and the USCIS official said the agency is assigning additional staff to address the workload. I hope so. They need a lot of hands on board. USCIS issued an agency-wide request for volunteers. So they request for volunteers to help process applications for humanitarian and significant public benefit parole. And the agency will have significantly more staff assigned to the workload in the coming weeks. We hope so. The deluge of applications has nonetheless overwhelmed the immigration service. I'm sure they didn't see it coming. It was just really sudden. So I hope that they can address this very, very timely because lives are at stake. Yeah, yeah. They anticipate that it's to number more, even about 150,000 applications within the coming year. So, guys, file your applications because they are going to be busy adjudicating the humanitarian parole application. If you have any type of application to file, this is the time to make sure you put it in. Okay. And yes, their systems are certainly not equipped to deal with that type of volume. Of course, there's an average amount of cases that they deal with every year that they are used to. So such an emergency just throws them off balance. Okay. Yes, if you're struggling to read my mark, trust me, I'm a lawyer. Yes, I love this mark so much. Okay. Yes, and so normally also the points they make is that when you have a humanitarian parole granted, they cannot help you get out of Afghanistan. It's just really more about admitting you to the United States. So how you get out of Afghanistan, that one you have to figure it out on your own. Okay. And then, yes, before a parolee is admitted to the US, they'll check your fingerprints and then they'll verify your identity and travel document. The point is that even in as much as there's still an emergency, they also don't want to invite people with questionable backgrounds like terrorists or people in cartels or whatever. They still want to make sure that the people being admitted are people that do not pose a threat to the security of the United States or the people within the US. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Well, US Embassy also in Kabul has shut down. So we're finding that many people are traveling to neighboring countries to be able to apply for okay, yeah, let me talk some more about it. I mean, it's an important one, so let me not just gloss over it. Let's okay, so when you get the pre-approval, what happens is that you need to travel to a third country for vetting at a US consulate. Remember that there's always a two-part process. If a beneficiary is located outside the US, you do the first part of the process here. And then the second part of the process, they are invited for the interview at the US embassy or the US consulate, okay, where they're based, and then they go for an interview. What's your name? And then you show all your documents. If they do make it through the process, then the Department of State, they'll issue a boarding letter for the applicant to take to the airline, okay, at their own expense again to the United States. This means that you're going to be buying your own ticket. The US is not going to be buying the ticket for you. So you need to make sure you have money for that. And so some of these people have sponsors that they're using. So it's not only about getting the humanitarian parole. Once you have the parole document to travel with, you need to buy your airline ticket, okay, as part of what you need. With foreign visas, let's read this part. With foreign visas, had to come by, and regular commercial flights yet to resume. Traveling to a third country for screening is not an option for most Afghans, according to advocates. Yes, exactly. So trying to move to a third country to travel, it's still difficult because, of course, the Taliban have they've mounted security or whatever along a lot of the borders, a number of the border points or exit points in Afghanistan. So again, trying to apply for foreign visa is difficult. I think I did a video on the e-visas, the countries which are offering e-visas for Afghans. And again, regular commercial flights still are yet to begin. Some airlines have really cut down on the number of planes that are traveling per week or per month. And also, a lot of the Afghanistans are finding that they don't even have money because banks are closed. The Taliban are controlling some of these places. And according to them, they are not able to take out money. So some of them don't even have funds to be able to pursue some of these routes. So even in the best of circumstances, the difficulty many Afghanistans face in reaching a U.S. consulate abroad has had undesirable consequences. Okay, yeah, we won't read that example. I think that should be fine. Triple of her regular price. Okay. So guys, that's it. I just wanted to talk to you guys about, yeah. Yeah, very, very unbelievable and very disappointing that just 6 officers are adjudicating now 20,000 applications. Quite unfortunate. So we hope that within the coming days they are going to find more volunteers from the agency to help them. Let me read a few comments and then we can um call it a day. Oh gosh. Then Abia says my ears are itching me. Okay, Nana, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining. I hope that that has subsided now that we've discussed what we have to discuss. The acquaintances says, why are they not hiring? They're hiring, I guess they're hiring from within because they still need people who are qualified to help them adjudicate because with the humanitarian parole, it's still technical, the I-131, the I-134. The I-134 is a financial, sort of like a financial document. It's like the I-864, a little bit different because you need the tax returns for some applications, pay stubs, bank statements, and then be able to kind of calculate household size with income to make sure the sponsor is able to sponsor the beneficiary. So I think they just want to be careful with just hiring anybody at all to come in. So they need to hire people that have experience with this, and they also need to offer training. So I guess it's a mixture of many things. And Napia says, my mom is a green card holder, but I'm more than 18 years. How can things get faster if she files for me? My stepfather is ill, and his wish for me is to be with them so I can assist my mom. What can they do? And as for this, you have to book a consultation. Are you based in Ghana? Are you based in Ghana? Yes. Well, there may be some options we could look at. Yes, if your mom is a green card holder, then she can only file for you if you are unmarried. If you are married, then she cannot file for you. So you should make sure that you stay unmarried. I mean, some of the requirements for US immigration, if you want to get a visa, so your mom, because she's a green card holder filing for you, who's unmarried son of a green card holder, you'll be F2B category, and that's a preference immigrant. So there's a wait time. So yes, there is a wait time, and of course, backlog, huge backlog. But yeah, your stepfather is ill, and your wish is to assist. So please, beyond what I've said, I mean, there's still certain things we can look at to see how we can help you. So please don't hesitate to give my office a call to schedule a consultation, and let's see. But then generally, there are long wait times for your category. I think currently the preference immigrant category that's current, that has the priority date is current, is the F2A. That's the children of green card holders under 21 years old. So he said, yes, I am. I'm in Ghana. Okay. Yeah, so that's the consular processing you'll be doing. I'm sorry. Basira Amadi. Basira Amadi. Okay. He says, I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Why is this going off? He says, hi, Basira. Basira, hello. Thank you so much for joining. Where are you watching from? Basira, where are you watching from? Let's know. You are married. Okay, that's good. So if you want to get your green card, you have to stay unmarried, because once you get married, if she files for you, get married, you're out. So careful with that. Joyce Nana Knedu says, is the US embassy open for interviews? Because my kid keeps receiving message that it's not open for interview. Your kid says, what type of message? Where is it from? Are you sure it's from the US embassy? It's certainly open. They're working. So be sure to know that it's actually from the US embassy, and maybe she has an application pending. I'm not sure. Are you sure? Sometimes people would misinterpret the email they are receiving, because they're certainly working. Okay. Nanapia says, sure. Okay. And then we have Unseen, or Unseen. Hi, I'm watching from Maryland. Hi, Anne. Thank you so much for watching. I have had, we've spoken for about 21 minutes. Interesting. I thought we were going to do a shorter video, but anyway, thank you guys for joining us. I'll see you guys hopefully soon. We're trying to push out a lot of cases with deadlines. So that's why I haven't been coming on live, but I'm here. Yesterday, I actually planned to come on live, but I had some emergency in-person consults in the office, so I couldn't make it live. But hopefully I'll see you guys again very soon. Until then, if you need US immigration law assistance, just call my number below, and we'll assist you. We represent clients all around the US and handle all types of US immigration matters. Okay. All right, guys. So have a wonderful rest of the day and take care. Bye-bye.